Welcome to the ONSIDE Podcast, a podcast on innovation-driven entrepreneurship. Join us on this journey as we amplify the power of disruptive ideas. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the ONSIDE Podcast. We're super excited to have you joining us here today. As you know, this season we're taking a deeper dive into women's entrepreneurship and other topics here in Canada. And we're highlighting women entrepreneurs and leaders who are changing our ecosystem to help it make it more inclusive and really driving change. And these fireside chats are being brought to you as part of our Start Now Incubator project, which supports diverse and intersectional women across Canada to grow and start their businesses. And we're really thankful to the Women's Entrepreneurship Strategy for some support to be able to do this. I'm your host, Alex McCann, and we're really excited to have you joining us. Today, we're going to meet with an amazing reggae artist, Jah'Mila. She is a Juno-nominated artist. She has a powerful voice for the Jamaican music and culture, bridging the gap between Caribbean and East Coast Canada. Originally from Kingston, Jamaica, she now calls Nova Scotia home, where she continues to champion the spirit of traditional roots reggae infused with elements of jazz and soul. Her musical journey has taken her across the globe, touring with legendary reggae acts like the Wailers, Black Uhuru, Groundation, and solidifying her place as a cultural reggae ambassador. She also has collaborated with prestigious orchestras, including the National Art Centre, Toronto Symphony Orchestra, and here in Nova Scotia, Symphony Nova Scotia, blending her rich vocal artistry and symphonic arrangements. She has a Juno-nominated album, which is Roots Girl, which is a heartfelt collection of songs that not only celebrate her cultural heritage, but serve as a powerful platform for social advocacy, inclusion, and representation in the arts. With her unwavering passion and support of her musical team, she continues to captivate audiences, ignite conversations, and inspire change one stage, one song, and one powerful message at a time. So, Jah'Mila, thank you so much for joining us today at the ONSIDE Podcast.
Thank you so much, Alex. It's a pleasure to be here, and thanks for the kind introduction.
We're super excited to have you here. You have such an interesting background and your journey. Originally from Kingston, Jamaica, you have a deep cultural heritage with Roots Reggae in particular. How did your upbringing in Jamaica sort of influence you, and what inspired you to want to be a reggae singer?
That's a great question. I've been singing my entire life. You know, there's this saying that the singer is entertaining to everyone else but the people they live with.
Oh.
So if you talk to my mom and my grandmother, they tell you just how much singing I've been doing my whole life. And it started in church choirs and everything. But my father has always been a reggae guitarist.
Oh.
And so I always felt like I had a deep dive into, like, you know, a behind the scenes look at the production of reggae music and the culture behind it. I've been grateful to be able to not only see the conservative side of Jamaica, but also the spiritual and cultural side of Jamaica, you know, through Rastafarian culture, through the music, and through the arts overall.
And what made you want to pursue a career? So you said your father, was he playing guitar? Is that
guitar?
correct?
Yeah,
playing
reggae guitar. Yeah.
Okay.
And really contributing to the music and the evolution of the music, and touring a lot. And so I always found his life very fascinating. Becoming a singer wasn't something I chose to do. I sing every day, Alex, regardless of if people are listening.
Okay. I'm a shower singer myself, so that's all everyone's going to get from me. So
Totally. But, you know, once people start engaging you and they start to listen, you're kind of forced into the business of music because you have to have those conversations. And it started off where I didn't bear a lot of the accountability because I would just join existing bands as a supporting vocalist. And then I would just able to just sing my songs and go home. But then once I moved to Nova Scotia, there wasn't a lot of reggae. You know, there wasn't a lot of existing bands playing the music that I was, that I had a lot of background and experience with. And so a bunch of my friends were like, let's jam some reggae songs. And as the show starts rolling in, you start rising to the occasion because you start having to engage. in a different way, because then you're starting to realize it's not just a passion anymore. It is a passion and will always be my safe space and my healing. But now it's like there's a business of music that is now in front of you, and you have to rise to the occasion.
When did you start? When did you start your sort of musical journey here in Nova Scotia? Was that? I want to. It's because it sounds like it was kind of not totally planned. Like you were just kind of getting the vibe, like wanted to do a couple sessions with some friends, jam in, etc. And then I guess people responded to that. Is that right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm so grateful when I came into Nova Scotia to have first met some very incredible people in the arts community. It has to be said just how close and how beautiful the creative community of Nova Scotia is overall. Let me just shout out my friends here. But, everything from seeing the Melatones on a Thursday night, going to the Carlton, going to Barely, seeing Garrett Mason and meeting these folks and seeing how beautiful they are. It wasn't long until I met the Dub Cartel, who were the closest thing to reggae music that I could find in this space, and they were happy to collaborate. And so as you meet more people, you started to get a little bit more immersed. And I remember my first show ever as a band, after we had been jamming for a couple of weeks, was at the Carlton in May of 2017.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yes. Love it. Yeah. The Carlton's a good spot. Spot.
I love it there.
Yeah. It's got a nice, close, intimate feel. Good sound. Been to the Carlton quite a few times, if I do say so myself.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So you're like kind of jamming with your friends. You're like getting connected to the scene. We do have a very rich musical heritage here in Nova Scotia, with our own music, Celtic music, a lot of folk music, all kinds of things coming in, and you're stepping in with a new kind of not new, but like maybe a little bit newer for Nova Scotia vibe.
Different.
Adding a little something to it. So I want to say thank you for adding a little something. Was there something like, so you started doing that? You started playing maybe at the Carlton and places like that. Was there a moment kind of was there a moment or like someone who influenced you that said, aha, like, you came to the moment where you're like, I could definitely do this as like a real thing, like a career or, do some side hustle. Like I could maybe take this to the next level.
Several people. If I called one name and didn't call all the others, I would feel it would be remiss of me to try to. There's always an encouraging word. There are a few names I will call and apologize to whomever I didn't, because it's been so encouraging, Teddy Skiffington, who first said, let's jam next Sunday. So you kind of put a timeline around it. And as a project manager myself in IT, I understand that a goal is just a goal and a dream is just a dream until you put a timeline around it. Teddy Skiffington said, let's jam next Sunday. I didn't take that initiative. And then, I have mentors like Erin Costello, constantly telling me and showing me how to produce, especially as a strong female voice in the community too. The arts have a tendency and a history of being male dominated, especially in certain roles as it relates to production and, kind of some of the more powerful behind the scenes roles. And I'm really, really grateful for strong voices like an Erin Costello, my friend Ben Barton Krillman, my friend Richard McNeil, constantly making time for me and investing their time. It's cool to have a dream, but when other people hinge their outcomes on yours, you know what I mean? They believe.
Yeah. They're pushing you a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it forces you to take yourself even more seriously because someone else's outcomes are also hinged to your outcomes. You have to take yourself seriously.
You have to. You're like, I got to show up.
Of course.
Yeah.
I have a band of 8. We're a band of 9, myself included, and we're all inextricably linked. Our reputation, the way we carry ourselves, our outlook, the way we prepare for the shows. we are as strong as our weakest link, and it's not lost on me that they've chosen to support me, and I have a responsibility to myself first and to them as well.
Well, having seen you perform a couple of times, your band is fantastic.
Thank you.
You guys have like great sound, great kind of energy, yes. And it sounds like you pick them, but they also picked you. Yes. And it's interesting about people who sponsor you. We talk about that. People who push you or make space for you, but encourage you to allow you to kind of move forward. So it's so great that you were able to identify a few folks that have like done that for you. Yes. Have you been able to, the reggae scene is kind of nascent, I guess I would say.
Yes.
Have you been able to find other folks as well that you think need to be sponsored or helped along the way, kind of in the music arts as well, or?
Yeah, that's a great question, and such a pertinent one, because I am always looking out for ways that I can help, and I will make time for whomever I can, who thinks that I have something to share. More intentionally, though, I do have a Reggae Roots educational program. It's a virtual educational program. I can't take all the credit for it. The National Arts Centre Orchestra and Daniel Bartholomew Poyser, incredible orchestral conductor and a powerful Black voice in Canada as well, collaborated with me again, hinged their outcomes on me and believed in me and gave me the opportunity to contribute as an artistic director and as the voice and presenter of this virtual educational program. Now it's available to all Canadian students free of cost. It's kind of more focused at students between ages 5 and 12, but I've presented it as a pops show to everyone of all ages, and it's been well received. It's one of my favorite persons in my entire life is my grandmother, and she was a kindergarten school teacher, and I love her so much, and I've seen the impact she's had on my very small rural community up in the mountains of Jamaica, and without any formal training, I consider it a privilege and an honor to be able to share with students in that way, because, whenever I stand in front of 1,000 students or 500 students, which is the numbers we've been seeing, right?
Yeah, that's a lot.
I'm grateful, and I reflect on my grandmother, and, and I feel like I'm making some sort of change. And it's the most beautiful thing, Alex, to hear the students receive it or say they had such a good time or take the time to pen a letter to me. Those are some of the most beautiful parts of my career and my journey so far. So in terms of giving back, that's kind of what I've been doing on a larger scale. And I'll make time for whomever I can.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, I had a chance just to see you on YouTube. So I encourage anybody to take a listen. I saw your performance with the orchestra. Amazing. Amazing. That's how I knew a little bit about that and some of that work. So youth is a very important aspect of what you do. So that your music as well as connection with youth are two things that are really. And I think that we see this a lot with entrepreneurs, or we see this a lot we have a lot of programs that focus on women, is giving people the opportunity to create a space, a safe space, or people don't like saying safe space anymore, as welcoming of a space as you possibly can make, where people can connect to something bigger than themselves and imagining something kind of bigger. So it sounds like that's something you're pretty passionate about in this work that you're doing with youth and all that.
Absolutely. I concur. Growing up, I did not see the representation of what I've been lucky enough to stumble into. Like, I could not have fathomed it. I hadn't seen a Black Jamaican woman immigrant singing with an orchestra. I hadn't seen it. I didn't conjure it up either. But I am happy that I was given the chance to be the conduit for that and act as representation. So, like, for example, next month, I shouldn't date this podcast.
That's okay.
I shouldn't date this podcast.
As of this date. That's okay. That's okay.
Podcasting rule number one. But
sometime in the future.
In the future, I'll be addressing some students at an after-school program that are specifically focused on marginalized students and providing the access to music education to students who otherwise might not have had the opportunity to do that for whatever barrier or reason. And I am so happy that I'm giving them the representation I lacked. I didn't see that growing up, and so I couldn't imagine it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting when I saw the performance just online, but when I saw the performance, I was like, wow, you know what? I don't think I had ever seen anything like that. I had not seen kind of a reggae artist with a big, large, traditional symphony with all of the kind of traditional Western instruments, playing at that rhythm or with those beats or like giving it. And there's definitely like a different sound. Like the sound is so large. The stage is so large. The view is so, immense. And even, whether it's Black opera singers or other folks, like there are not that many stages where people are showing up at that kind of venue, other than, like large music concerts or things like that. So it's a very interesting platform and place to be to show, yes, I can be here. I can be in this beautiful place with this beautiful orchestra, and blend the two different different cultures. So we'll put it in our like links and all that kind of stuff, so people can go hear and see for themselves. Yeah. But one of the things, when we think about reggae, at least for me, and probably many people, is that we know that it's such a powerful message driven genre. And you talked about your father and seeing him on stage, and you just shared with us about your grandmother. Are there certain kinds of stories or emotions or things that you're trying to get across in your own music? You have your Juno-nominated album. We have another one we'll mention a little bit later. Yes. But is there something that you're trying to get across in your music?
That is such a great question. And I'm honing in on that with each production. I think Roots Girl was more of, these are the songs we have. We're going to put it all together. And we're going to put it out.
Launch it.
Yeah, as a piece of work. And then the second album, Woman of the Sun, I have one production under my belt, me and my team and I, and now I can be a little bit more intentional with the messaging. And I was. And one of them that really stuck with me was the power of community, and the importance and power of community. Self-value, reflecting on self, and really honing in on your own power in your authenticity, standing in your authenticity. So like Woman of the Sun is to encourage. There are too many songs out there that are telling our young girls that they're not enough. And I wanted to have a song that was telling people, like, you know what, you're beautiful just the way you are. Yeah. Just the way you are, And there's a value system, too, in my music, regardless of if the message isn't directed. So some of the value systems is no expletives. Everyone should be able to consume my music, and that's a rule of thumb for me. Another thing is there'll be no disrespect or degradation unless it's the system, you know what I mean. Yeah. Unless it's the forces.
No need to degrade women.
Yes. No need to degrade women or any groups of people, really. Yeah. But there's also an honesty that I aspire towards when I'm talking about the real issues, because there's an honesty that is required for us to be able to address the social issues. And my favorite singer, Nina Simone, said it best, that it's the artist's responsibility to reflect the times. And so that's one of the value systems I hold, that I should be able to, without being censored, speak about the issues, from my point of view. And so those are the things I consider to be very important to me in my music. And then, of course, the love songs. And
gotta have the love songs. Gotta have the love songs. Gotta have the love
Totally.
songs. You gotta have like a couple like tear jerkers and
Absolutely.
the boy who did me wrong, or
Yep. Or the boy who did you right.
or the one who did you right. That's even better.
Totally.
Longing and all that kind of stuff.
For sure.
Okay. Well, I think that's so important now. We have so many young women and girls really under threat from violence. There's like epidemic of violence against women and self-hatred and, all of these kinds of things. So I think when there's positive role models or things that you can hear and listen to reinforce some of those positive ways of thinking and being across different genres is so important. Yeah. Now, you started off growing up listening, and singing in the church and listening to music back home in Jamaica, and then you moved here to Canada, and so you have kind of like two experiences of two. I don't know if they're different or not, but the Canadian kind of music industry and then the Jamaican music industry. What was it like when you came here and started kind of experiencing the Canadian way of doing things? What was that like?
Yeah, that's a great question. It was an interesting journey for me. It would have been easier for me to make that comparison if my experience in each place was static or similar, but they were quite different. But I'm going to do my best, right? Because in Jamaica, I didn't have a lot of that lead artist accountability. I was always a backing vocalist, but touring across the world with these bands, touring with the Wailers, touring with Groundation. So I'm constantly in this country. But one thing, touring with these experienced bands, with these incredible artists that have been doing it before I was born, and soaking it all in and watching how they're impacting the people around them and how it's received. And learning and listening to the stories and feeling very blessed because Jamaica, I don't know if you've been, everyone is a star in Jamaica. They all just need a mic. So to have been blessed to have that opportunity, I love that. And I think that empowered me to be able to, when I came here, to take that step from the backing vocalist microphone to the lead singer microphone, because it's a short distance, but it's a big step, because it comes with a lot of accountability, a lot of responsibility. You're not just a piece of a cog in the wheel. You are the wheel, And so my experience in Nova Scotia, of course, would have been different because I felt like I had the confidence, the support, and the impetus to grow in my artistry. There was reggae here, Verbal Warning, Andrew Branch and the Halfway Tree, Dub Cartel, but I felt like I brought an authenticity to the scene, having had the experiences that I had, and I could collaborate with these groups that were already here and give something and be value added in that way. What I learned about, and this is something that I am so incredibly proud of to be able to talk to you, is as a female entrepreneur, sitting into that space and understanding, okay, the rules of the game. How does this work on paper in real life? What are the things you have to do to operate a business as an independent artist? Before you're an independent artist, what clearances do you have to have even as an immigrant to be able to? And these are the kinds of conversations I want to have with artists that are either new to the scene or in the scene and not quite sure where to start.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because, if you go to a show or something, you're just like jamming and enjoying the music and you're not really thinking about it. But for an artist to show up, whether they are here in Canada or especially if they're coming from somewhere else, there's a whole lot of things that have to kind of fall into place just to be able to make it so that you can be at that show.
Absolutely.
And what I'm hearing is when you were in Jamaica, you were more part of the group. So you could just, when you were touring, you just show up. Not just, you show up, you sing, but you're kind of in with the group and you're participating, you're going along, but now that you've been in Nova Scotia, you've been stepping out as the leader.
Steering.
If everybody's, maybe before everybody was on the bus with you and you were on the bus too and having a good time. But now you're like the bus driver and everyone's on the bus with you.
Absolutely.
And you're making sure, you have the tires, the buses, they got the maintenance and, like everything is working.
Passengers are comfortable.
They're there. They showed up on time. Exactly. They didn't get left behind at the last tour stop.
Exactly.
They're all there.
Totally.
And so that's a big adjustment to make.
And learning it as I go along.
Yeah. And was that a conscious decision when you decided to make that switch to kind of be the bus driver or be the leader of step into a more of a leadership role as the singer and the artist and do that? Was that like a conscious decision that you're like, okay, I think I got to do this now?
Well, yeah, it gave me no choice. I think I had mentioned before that I felt like I had to rise to the occasion because with each successive opportunity that came in front of you, you have to deal with it. And as those opportunities become more complex and, for want of a better word, bigger, it requires more of you. And I'm happy for all I've learned. It does help that some of my corporate experience and the skills that I've honed there are transferable. But think about, the artist trope. It's really passionate people, they're kind of feel their way through things. That's the artist trope. That's a stereotype. And I'm not saying everyone's like that. but there's two different sides of the brain at work there.
Yeah. Well, you need the energy and the passion, but you also need the organizational skills.
Absolutely.
To show. I mean, it's kind of like maybe this is another famous trope. Is like the wonderful musician, but who never makes it to the stage. Because they got distracted or they were playing their guitar, or things like that.
Absolutely.
So what were some of the skills that you felt you had to learn as you decided to kind of step into this space of kind of leading and what were some of the things?
So every independent artist is an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So you and I both know some of the stuff, all entrepreneurs have to do. We're talking about things like registering your business, if that's what you're going to do, or if you're not registering your business, understanding what the terms are around that and making sure that your paperwork and accounts are well, having templates for your contract, understanding how you're going to engage different kinds of offers, engaging your fans. Social media is now something we can no longer ignore. It's there and it's here to stay. And so those are kinds of some of the things, soft skills, contract language, bookkeeping, accounting, having a sort of process on how you're going to engage your team. It's project management. How are you talking to your team? How often are you meeting? You know what I mean? Licensing, sync. Come on now. Showcasing, grants and funding, financing. These are the things, and they're real things.
Yeah.
And these are on top of writing the songs and rehearsing it and showing up on time for your sound check.
So you just described all the fun things that I'm sure that every artist is like, yes, I totally want to do that.
Yeah.
Totally want to do that. But those are real things.
They take structure.
Yeah.
They take structure. You will inevitably have to take a pen and a paper or open your computer and put some structure around your artistry. It must. You must.
So when you started to do some of those things, the kind of like administrative things, the like not so fun things about like being an artist.
Yes.
You mentioned you have like a bit of a project management background. Did that help you to do that, to kind of bridge like, okay, I kind of know what, like I have this creative energy side.
Yes.
How did that help you?
It helped me immensely, and continues to help me to this day as I find out best practices of like ways to engage your team, ways to motivate your team, different soft skills, different practices as how to, agile ways of doing things, like different, I can't say I can take it up like a cookie cutter and drop it over here, but every time a situation arises, you have now a wider pool of resources and skills from which to choose from to be able to handle each successive issue or challenge or problem that might come your way. I also have to to use this opportunity to say my team I'm so grateful for them for showing up every week on time and also honoring that this is a business as well and treating it seriously. And so, yeah, I think we feed off of each other. In
good,
that
you
way.
have like good energy going. Good
oh,
energy.
totally.
Yeah. Okay.
Totally.
Well, for anyone who's an artist that's out there kind of in the music industry, are there any things that you would recommend for them to do? Like if they're maybe just kind of getting into it, like things, maybe something you wish that you had known before or, you know, a tip or a trick or not a trick, but just like things you wish you had known. Like as a young artist, kind of like the business side of it.
Of course. This is going to sound really, really simple. I'm going to give you 3 gems, if that's okay. 3.
Yeah. Please.
Open up a document, whether it's Excel, I am partial to Excel, or Word.
Yeah.
And start writing down all the live shows that you've done, when you did them, how much you got paid, stuff like that. Income, outcome. That'll help you when you're starting to do your accounting. It will be very, very helpful at the end of the year. Your songs. Who is contributing to your songs? Write them down. The name of the songs. Who played what? Because all of a sudden you have 20 songs and you don't know who contributed what. And that when in the initial stages of jamming, you're not quite sure, you're just having fun. And then your album comes out and there is, just read the history books, man.
Oh, yeah. this is like, I made that beat.
Right?
I need my 20 million.
A story as old as time.
Yeah.
So that's 1. 2, if you're a part of a beautiful arts community like Nova Scotia, join the local arts advocacy group. So here we have Music Nova Scotia. In the Maritimes overall, we have the East Coast Music Association. If you are Black or have Black heritage, join the African Nova Scotia Music Association. They do have tools. They have basic training. Basic training will teach you how to manage things like royalties, how to seek funding, how to just life skills that every independent artist, and just the networking opportunities. You get to meet people who have all invariably had these same questions like you do starting out. So don't recreate the wheel if you don't have to. Go and meet the people and build relationships. And that's my 3rd one.
Okay.
Build good, solid relationships.
Okay.
That cannot be stressed enough. Be present. And be sincere. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I think those are good tips.
Yeah. People are not a means to an end.
Okay. Those are excellent. Well, hopefully we'll write all those down and get those out there into the ether. Another thing that's interesting about the business of music. So we talked a little bit about, you know, there's the creative side and then there's like kind of the business management side, which is not that much fun. I'm kind of a creative mind person myself, but I don't play an instrument or do anything like that. And I really, you know, I do all the administrative stuff, but like accounting would be, I can never be an accountant. Love the accountants. You guys are amazing. Keep doing your job. Keep doing that because I can't do that.
Yes.
But another thing that I find interesting is, you know, things have changed so much in the music industry. So, you know, I actually have a great uncle. He, I call him Uncle Cat, but he played in Duke Ellington's band.
No way.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. He was a trumpet. He played the trumpet, a high note specialist.
What's his name?
Cat Anderson.
Cat Anderson. I'm going to go look him up.
Yeah. Cat Anderson. He's got albums and, you know, all that stuff. And, I used to watch him, you know, like he'd come to the house and play the trumpet and, you know, do all this stuff. And my mother would tour with him when, you know, she was little, but he's my great uncle. But I think back to sort of like his time of like, you know, being in a big band and traveling the world and, you know, how you would make records or an album or how people would get paid. Compared to today, where, you know, everything's on Apple Music or, you know, I was like, do people buy albums anymore? I have a son. He's obsessed with music. He spends a ridiculous amount of money on actual albums. He was buying all of these albums. We didn't even have a record player.
No way.
Yeah. We had he had hundreds of dollars of records, but we didn't have, so we were like, okay. So we finally conceded and got him a record player for his birthday. So now he can like listen to the music.
Good for him.
Yeah. He was like buying all these like old, well, not old, but like Lauryn Hill and like all this stuff.
What is your son's name?
Patrick.
Be like Patrick, guys.
Yeah. Be like Patrick.
Patrick rocks.
Yeah. Patrick. He's over there at the Taz Records. Like, I actually had, I got an alert on our mobile app for the banking. It was like overspending. I was, what's going on here? And he's like, I was trying to buy an album and da, 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 da. I was like, okay, like calm down. So he and some of his friends do buy actual records.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of like coming back in vogue and people want like real tangible things.
Yeah.
But still a lot of stuff is, online or, streams or, whatever. Mm-hmm. How do people make money in the music industry today?
What a great question.
Yeah, like
I'm still figuring it out, guys.
Yeah. Like,
I'm still figuring.
Like, are there some things that you've tried, or for like people who are kind of starting out that they should be thinking about, as they're building their business or thinking about that? What are some things you're thinking about in that area?
Yes, that is a great question. The revenue potential of the independent artist or artists overall, whether or not you're independent, is threatened in a big way. The streaming platforms, who have their pros, definitely also have their cons, as the production cost of making the music that they're selling for pennies is exorbitant, and artists cannot, unless you are streaming millions and millions and millions of songs per day or, per period, you cannot make enough money from streaming to sustain yourself. So myself personally, I've put a lot of attention on my live performance, which is where my exposure started anyway. Mm-hmm. My record came out after I had already done several dozens of shows. And so the reputation I think I've built, and guys comment and let me know if that's the truth, is from the word of mouth of my live performance. And so I've honed in on that and try to keep it relevant, try to keep it different, try to spice it up, and try to keep it at a certain really good standard, because the more ticket sales you can convince a theater that they're going to have with your act, the better shows you'll get. Mm-hmm. And so I'm grateful for that. One of the things I've done is I've diversified my act, because the size of my band has been a deterrent for some smaller venues. And so being agile and flexible in that way has allowed me to open up opportunities for smaller venues that with my big band I would not otherwise have, ensuring that I have beautiful looking merch. And back to the record thing, I think there's a culture going on around record collecting right now that I think is really cool. And so I have 2 records as well, and most people want you to sign them. So I think people are looking at it as more of a collector's item than it is something they'll be playing every day, because they can go listen to you on their phone, on Spotify right away. But do I want a piece of this person living in my home for the next 30 years? Yeah. When someone takes $50 and they buy my gold record, that's Woman of the Sun. And that's why I made them gold. I made them gold because, well, if you want a gold record, you might as well make one. Yeah. But on the other hand,
I'm instant gold record. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Give yourself gold records. Yeah. No, anyway. But another thing is that the person who decides to take up a $50 record off of a table and ask you to sign it wants a piece of you in their home. And I want to make it a beautiful piece of me.
Yeah.
And so having good, beautiful merch has been something that has served me, where even sometimes the shows, if they can't, or I didn't have high ticket sales, there'll be some merch that offsets that. Aligning your brand, so being very intentional around your brand, and that's something I'm still working towards. I'll be doing more work on that, as it was the Juno nomination last year that really forced me to think about my brand and image in a more serious way, because then I felt like with the publicity that came from that, there were eyes all over the world looking at me, and not just in the Maritime. And I felt like I I had a responsibility to be more intentional with my branding. And so that's something that is in motion at this time. But aligning your brand will open up a lot of opportunities like brand ambassadorship. You know, there are companies that are looking for beautiful souls to represent their brand, you know, and everything from liquor stores or like, you know, alcohols or all the way to books, publishing companies, anything, really, anything. And everyone has a community, and, you know, you have to find which ones resonate with your brand and see if it feels right. But brand ambassadorship is a really good way to make money as well. And I also love the idea of being instrumental in the community in advocacy. Advocacy doesn't always pay, but when it does, it's also a revenue stream. So, for example, if you're invited to be a keynote speaker somewhere or to share your experiences, for me, I get like this podcast, I get asked to speak about my experience as an artist, as an immigrant, you know, in EDI forums or different kinds of forums. I get to address corporate as well. And I'm really grateful when people are interested in what I have to say. And that's kind of how I make money from music. But don't tell anyone. I would sing anyway. I would sing anyway, Alex. And that's the driving force at the end of the day, is that I like music and I like to sing.
Well, we love having you sing, and having seen you perform a few times, I definitely encourage anyone out there to try to get to see you live. If you ever do anything with Symphony Nova Scotia again, I will definitely be there.
Thank you.
Hint, hint, Symphony Nova Scotia.
Wink.
We're getting close to the end of our time, but what are some things that you're up to, and how can people learn about your album?
Okay. Some things that I'm up to. So this is 2025, and in March, I'm going to be in Toronto. I'll be doing an after-school program with the System of Toronto students, and then I'll be performing with them on Friday, March 7th.
Ooh.
Yes. And then the day after that, we'll be at Hugh Rooms Live in Toronto as well for International Women's Day, where I'll be performing with another reggae superstar and Queen Amoy.
Ooh.
So we're really excited about that. For the rest of the year, look around, visit my website, www.jah'milamusic.com. All my show dates will be there. There are some special ones coming up for this year. Wink.
Wink, wink. Yeah.
Wink, wink. And I'm just excited to meet you. Come over and say hi.
Okay. And if anyone goes to your website, you can also have a little listen to your new album, which has some great songs on there. Women of the Sun, East Coast Family, in case anybody wants to get the Nova Scotia vibe.
Yes.
Yeah, those are two that I recommend. Why did you call your album Woman of the Sun?
That's a great question.
I wanted to get that in real quick.
It's a little cheesy, but people like cheese.
Okay. Is it because you miss the sun, or, Well,
it could be looked at in that way as well. But Roots Girl was the first album. And when I think about roots, I think about being below the soil. It's dark. There's work happening, but no one's able to see it, And then what happens to roots is that if you water them and you plant them in fertile soil, what's going to happen?
Beautiful. Hopefully a beautiful flower comes up.
A beautiful plant is going to pop its head through the soil. And I'm not a girl. With each passing day, I'm coming to terms with the fact that I am indeed a woman.
Yes.
Full grown.
Yes. I hear you. Being a girl, that was so long ago.
I know. But there was a humility, I think. There is something in Roots Girl where being able to speak and share my culture in that way, but then also recognizing that I had so much to learn still, and even still have so much to learn. So I felt like Roots Girl was appropriate for the work I was doing at that time. But Woman of the Sun, the stories on this album are so much more personal. And again, the album is more intentional, and I feel like I am more stepping into my artistry and a little bit more, and the light is shining on my face. And last year, 2024 overall, was a real testament to that and my growth. And so that's why I named it Woman of the Sun.
Woman of the Sun. I love it. Yeah. I love it. Well, for 2025, which is, if you're into the Chinese New Year, also the year of the snake. So I know it feels like the new year has already like gotten off to a busy start, but I know you'll have an amazing 2025. Album will do amazing in all of your shows and productions and all that stuff. So with that, I want to thank you for joining us today for the ONSIDE podcast. And for folks who are out there, I hope that you can like and subscribe to the podcast, give us a thumbs up, listen to Jah'Mila, and check us out. You can learn more about ONSIDE on our website, which is onsidenow.ca. And you can also learn more about the Start Now Incubator at startnowincubator.ca. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much, Alex. Thank you, guys.